Jennette McCurdy just released her new book and it's showing up all over my Twitter feed, so I thought I would give it a shot. And I've always had an interest in seeing her one-woman play, which has the same name as the title of the book. It's called I'm Glad My Mom Died. I love the title. And in past interviews, we've seen that she already has dealt with an abusive mother and with eating disorders. And I'm interested in seeing how the relationship she had with her mother was so intertwined with her career and ultimately her health. And I'm so glad that she's in a better place. A lot of people are talking very positively about the book, so I'm very excited to see. We all grew up watching iCarly and we were pretty shocked when she wasn't returning in the reboot, but I'm very content and I'm very glad about how they addressed that she wasn't going to be in the reboot. They did it in a very mature way as opposed to, I don't know, what the Fuller House did with the Olsen twins. So yeah, I'm very excited to give this book a shot, and I'm going to be documenting all of my thoughts and all my opinions throughout my reading process. Okay, so update. I don't know why I'm already updating this early on. I'm literally 3% into the book, but I'm only in the second chapter and it's already so obvious how all-encompassing her mother was to her life. I'm not gonna give any spoilers in this video, but it's a non-fiction book about her relationship with her abusive mother. So some of these things, it's just what we already generally know about these types of situations. She always wanted to be an actress growing up, but her parents didn't let her. So now in her adult life, she's projecting all of her dreams onto her children, and especially Jennette. At least in the chapters where she's talking about her childhood, like her writing style is, I'm not gonna say childlike, but I mean that she can get into the mentality of a child when she is writing the chapters from the perspective of her being a child, if that makes sense. It gets the reader a lot closer to the author, and so far it's fantastic and I'm really liking it. Update. Okay, so hi, this is the next day. I couldn't get a lot of reading done yesterday, so catching up today. I'm about 36% into the book and she just now got her role on iCarly. So far in the book, we've been following her as she's gotten older and she started getting more roles in Hollywood, from background character up to her first leading role, which is now iCarly. The reader gets a glimpse of how intertwined her career is with her relationship with her mother. Like, there is no one without the other. So looking back at it now, of what we know now that Jennette quit acting, it makes complete sense as to why she would make this decision. We're just getting into the SA that she suffered from her mother that would bathe her up until she was a teenager. She recounts on the out-of-body experience, how she would feel disconnected from her body and uniquely in her own mind. But I did end up thinking, while I was reading those parts, that while she was writing the book, she had to take herself back into that memory, back into those experiences and live through them again in order to write them out, which would have required a lot of emotional labor to be able to pull through. So just for that alone, I applaud her. I'm sure it must have been a very tumultuous and draining thing to accomplish. So yeah, so far this is the update, and when I finish reading 50%, I'll report back. It's so crazy to think that while all of this was going on, we were just watching her. Because I distinctly remember being 7 years old and watching iCarly for the first time. I remember the premiere of the show and I just thought it was so cool. You know, the core trio friendship. Always liked the idea of a web show. And here am I 15 years later making a YouTube video, you know? It just comes to show that you never really know what was going on. And how could I know? Because granted, I was a child. I didn't even know such a thing as an abusive mother could exist. I didn't even know what that was. I didn't even know those two words could ever be put in the same sentence. It just seems like this sort of dystopian Black Mirror-esque experience of you having sacrificed all of your time and your childhood and the preciousness of being young to cater to someone who's abusive towards you, but disguise it as love while also entertaining millions of people around the world, but not really benefiting from it in any way, shape, or form. Why would someone ever expect a child to go through all of that and still stay sane by the end of it? Like, it makes no sense. However, if you are going into this book looking for like celebrity drama or any material to dunk on any of her co-stars from any of her shows, you will be disappointed. All of her descriptions of her experiences are very mature and well processed. And if you're going into this book thinking, oh, I want to know what she said about so and so, like, don't even pick up the book. You're not gonna get what you want. I'm sorry. Like, it's not gonna provide you any of the entertainment that you want to get out of it. This is a book about abuse and traumas and navigating the experiences of a child star in Hollywood. This isn't about anything other than that. So I'm about halfway done. It's a couple hours later and I'm halfway through the book. She's about 19 now. The 5th season of iCarly has wrapped up. The thing that I'm noticing is that unfortunately her mother wasn't the only person who was exploitative towards her. The person who she calls the creator, and we all know who it is, but he can rot, is also exploitative on set. So Girly doesn't have a stable and safe environment, not at home, not with her family, not in her workplace, not at school, because again, she's homeschooled. Like, where's her safe space? I was so uncomfortable. She had to take bikini photos while she was underage. As soon as I read it, I blocked it out of my mind. I'm like, I don't even want to read about this. But the part that I want to talk about is, since we're halfway through the book, she's opening up a little bit more about her relationships in that area of her life. You see very older men taking advantage of a very sad situation. Basically, where I'm at in the memoir right now is Jennette's in her first relationship. I don't even know if it's right to call it a relationship. She's 18, 19, he's 32. They've been together for about a year, and her mother still doesn't know about her relationship. And they're on a vacation together, and paparazzi takes pictures of them, which ends up on TMZ, and that's how her mother finds out that she's in a relationship. And her reaction made me scared for my life. Like, I needed to put the book down. Like, the worst imaginable response you can think of from a verbal abuse point of view. Like, why would you need a nemesis or an enemy or a hater when you have your mother? The way that she was like, oh, I hope you rot in hell with your little boyfriend. Don't call me mom, call me Deb, because I'm not your mother anymore. Oh, by the way, our fridge broke, so can you send us money so we can get a new one? Blatant audacity. Like, oh my God, no, it's really ownership. She acted like Jennette was like a piece of like a chair that she owned, like a piece of furniture that she could just carry around. Like, at this point, anyone that's against Jennette is against me. I am riding with that woman till the end of her days. I was going to continue reading, but I just wanted to read this little quote in the book. First of all, did you know that she doesn't receive residuals for her role on Nickelodeon? Like, I thought, well, I what do I know about television? But I thought that any actor who appears on television on reoccurring episodes on TV shows and stuff like that, they would receive residuals. Like, is Nickelodeon not paying them? So you mean to tell me she had to tolerate that man's ass for 7 years to not even receive any residuals? No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Anyways, the quote is, the transition from child stardom to a legitimate career as an adult in the entertainment industry is a notoriously tough one, even for young actors blessed with roles in credible films with credible directors. But for kids who start out on kids' TV, it's a career death sentence. There's something about the one-dimensional, overly glossy image combined with the extent of the public recognition of that image that makes it nearly impossible to overcome. The second the child star tries to outgrow and break free from their image, they become bait for the media.
highly publicized as rebellious, troubled, and tortured, when all they were trying to do was grow. Growing is wobbly and full of mistakes, especially as a teenager. Mistakes that you certainly don't want to make in the public eye, let alone be known for the rest of your life. But that's what happens when you're a child star. Child stardom is a trap, a dead end. And I see that, even if mommy can't. She wanted this, and I wanted her to have it. I wanted her to be happy. But now that I have it, I realize that she's happy and I'm not. Her happiness came at the cost of mine. I feel robbed and exploited. Her boyfriend just said that he thinks that he's Jesus reincarnated. I don't know anything about this, Steven, but I just know that this is a white man. There's no way that any other person said this. Imagine waking up one day thinking, yeah, I am Jesus Christ reincarnated. Like, I'm telling you, a white man. I know he's a white man. I just know it. Oh, wait, he's schizophrenic. Never mind.
Okay, so update, we're on day 3 and I just finished the book a couple of minutes ago. This is easily a 5-star book. She has a very direct way of explaining things, very cut to the chase, no sugarcoating, and you can see that it's in her personality. It's not just something that she does for her book. You can see it in the way that she decorates, or better yet saying, doesn't decorate her apartment. I appreciate as a reader the honesty. I didn't feel like she was holding anything back. This didn't feel like a cash grab. This didn't feel like something she did to revamp her career. This is the most honest piece of literature that I read this entire year. And I really, really recommend this to anybody in any, well, not everybody. Anorexia, bulimia, EDs, SA, abusive parents, abusive mother, emotional abuse, child abuse, cancer, death. If any of these topics are very sensitive to you and you would feel uncomfortable if you read them, then I don't suggest that you pick up this book. Over the last chapters, we ran over her time in Sam and Cat and a TV show that she did for a couple of years. We see her start her recovery. We see her quit acting. We see the ups and downs of recovery. We see how her and Miranda Cosgrove's relationship carried on after the show ended. Speaking of which, in the last couple of chapters, she addresses the iCarly reboot when she inevitably turned down since she quit acting in 2017. I've been following the public discourse on my Twitter feeds and on TikTok about the book, and so far 99% of what I'm seeing is all positive, as it should be. One of the things that I was most interested in seeing and reading, how Gen Z is reacting to some of the actors who were on their childhood TV shows share their experiences that they had on those networks, whether it's on Nickelodeon, whether it's on Disney, because we all feel like they were a part of our childhood in a way. I hope that they can feel like they can share if they feel comfortable to do so, and that they have a support system who really appreciates them. And it's a conversation that's very much needed. I can honestly see how the same can be said, or better yet, will be said in a decade or so, about children of family YouTube channels coming out on everything that really went on behind cameras, because I don't believe these family YouTube channels are the safest place for them, and everything about the parents exploiting their kids for fame and fortune. So in a way, we can definitely see a cycle. First it was on these network TV shows, and now it's coming onto the digital platforms, and it's going to be interesting to see how this discourse is carried out throughout the years.
Last thing I say before I wrap things up, we need to launch an investigation into everything that was going on behind the scenes in Nickelodeon in those years, because it seems like we are only scratching the tip of the iceberg. I know that there's like 300 more Titanics that needs to sink, because ever since the book was released, so many things have come up about other child actors suffering abuse, about other producers and other executives being menaces to society. Like, who do we call? Like, what do we do? What do we do as a collective to make this happen? Like, is it the sheriff? Is it the FBI? Like, who do we call to get this done? Because if they don't do anything, I know that the stands will. And honestly, I think I'm more afraid of that. So Yeah, go read the book. It's really good. See y'all next time. Bye.